I was reading Lenin's essay called "What is to be Done," which is an important early text for him. I believe is published around 1900, but in it he talks about, basically it's like an essay, a short essay about the importance of starting a kind of revolutionary newspaper and the importance of that to establishing like a real revolutionary proletarian movement. But at one point in the essay he talks about the importance of ideological consistency in any kind of propagandizing endeavor, the need to have like a consistent, coherent political program that is disciplined and has leadership, and in some sense is hierarchical when you're trying to do something political, like establish like a political newspaper that is going to be the organizing basis of establishing a political party. And I was thinking about that in contrast to the liberal ideology of like a free and open debate, which to me seems to be like almost like the exact opposite of that, where rather than risk having any kind of unified ideology or any kind of unity of thought, liberalism is all about allowing for complete disunity. Like that is its guiding motivation, is like a total absence of consistency. And as I was thinking about this, I realized that in a sense you could say that in liberalism's terms, the only way to have any kind of change that is, first of all, for it to be either illegitimate, or in liberalism's terms, or for there to be like a complete consensus of everyone involved. And in a social context of trying to establish like a political movement, talking about having a complete consensus and conformity of like the amount of people who are in the society in question, which is obviously like a completely absurd proposition. But like the idea of ideological consistency, I think, is something, it's one of those many areas where like you can kind of understand why people come up with theories like the horseshoe theory, because there really seems to be like a very thin line between the left position or the communist position and like the right-wing conservative position, because both left and right, I mean, I don't know, I'm not speaking about like the generalizable left, like the popular left. I'm talking about like principled Marxist left, but that section of the left and the right wing, both understand fully the need for ideological consistency, for a certain degree of uniformity of thought, and how important that is for like establishing a political movement. But the difference between the left wing and the right wing in this regard is that the left, the Marxist basis for arguing that one should be consistent with that particular ideology, one should fall into line and like join in with that movement. The Marxist claim to be true is that it is based on like a scientific analysis both of the present material conditions of society, like the economic, political conditions of society, as well as of history, and further like an actual, like the Marx's actual like analysis of the material conditions, meaning capitalism, and like Marx uncovering all of these contradictions that are endemic to capitalism. Is like a scientific argument for why you ought to be at least anti-capitalist, and then like the argument for why you should go further than that and be a communist rather than merely an anti-capitalist is, you know, the analysis of history and the innovation of historical materialism, which is like the scientific study of history, and the ensuing conclusion that like the communist road to revolution is the only valid road to revolution. So you have that on the one hand. That is like the Marxist claim to truth, and like why you should be consistent with that ideology. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, you have the right wing, or the fascists, or however you want to characterize the right wing. Their claim to truth and why you should be consistent with their ideology is based entirely on like reaction. It's purely a reactionary truth claim. Any kind of science that you see associated with the right wing is like phrenology and that sort of thing, and like eugenics, like completely like reactionary pseudoscience. And there are many arguments for why historical materialism is pseudoscience. I don't buy into them. That's a humongous topic. But on the right wing, their claim to truth is like purely reactionary, which means that it is not really a truth claim. Like, that is not an argument. It is like an emotional kind of appeal for why, for like based on like contingent historical and like completely distorted perceptions about how like the past was better and why we should go back to the past, why we should preserve like certain aspects of the social order that you know, were obviously beneficial to the people who are making these arguments, to the right wing, to the fascists. It's not in any way based on any kind of like justifiable truth claim. So that is just a short argument for why you should be a communist.